The themes I've been dealing with in my work lately have revolved around flight and people who have attempted flight in various ways, maybe unconventional ways. Um, and I think they allude more to this idea of escape or submission, touch on ideas about the American dream. Flight has also been maybe our first, as humans, our first real exploration of technology, like something that's outside of our human capability. The ultimate expression of that would be flight, making the human body float through air, simulating the birds, space, traveling through space to other worlds. Yeah, maybe the biggest influence on my work is how to approach a material and how to approach a system in a scenario, and to really think about what essentially that material or space can do, to really get down to the bottom of it. My work with the dome right now is really influenced by my work as an undergraduate, working with every material I could ever think of, pieces of railroad parts and pine cones, putting them together in a way that talks about both of the materials, everything from that to this relationship in grad school that I started to develop, which was about implying a space between video and sculpture, so things that couldn't exist without one or the other. So in order to do that, it's an investigation into the material at its most elementary level. Video is projected light. A screen is anything white or light colored that will receive light. Currently, I'm a fellow at the Morehead Planetarium, working on a series of pieces. Right now, I'm in the investigation stage of the dome, so trying to figure out what is essential to that space, how images move in a three-dimensional dome space. I've been shooting, I guess, these kind of effects pieces, abstract processes that exist in front of the lens. So food coloring that's dropped into water, paint that's dripped down a surface, down onto the ground. And when these images are transferred to the dome, they do something completely different that I never would have imagined. They completely engulf the viewer. They become very textural and visceral and change that skin that's the dome into liquid or paint or a ball of glitter. Working with the Renzi and using the red camera has really allowed me to do this work. The dome is of such a high resolution that traditional HD video wouldn't come close to. If you scale HD video to the size of the dome, it's scaling it 8 times the size of its original. So with the red camera, I'm able to come a lot closer to that resolution and that detail that's needed to even make motion video work on a dome. I think what's happening now, because of the birth of this high-resolution video equipment, also the affordability of HD cameras, it's allowing artists to make work that exists in spaces that they never had before, particularly with the red camera, which is a somewhat affordable option for independent filmmakers. It's allowing them to actually compete at the detail level that Hollywood has used for years, right? I'm not a filmmaker by any means. If you wanted to call me a filmmaker, I guess you could call me an experimental filmmaker, but I don't really approach filmmaking in the same kind of manner. And it's nice to have just this high resolution equipment to be able to experiment with and to actually figure out and to make images, to make these things happen on a screen or a dome or anywhere really where you can project video. I mean, I think the possibilities are really endless. There has never been video of this resolution before. To do that you would need film, and film is really expensive and a whole other process. So I teach my students to really manipulate video, particularly in a video art class, to really play with the material. The first assignment is this assignment where they're basically required to take the editing of their work so far that you can't reference any of the original shot material. So they take footage of some textures, and then it's manipulated so that you don't notice where it came from. And they don't know what they're going to end up with. And that's kind of the joy of the project. They don't know where they're going, but they end up somewhere. They know when to stop. Keep working, and you continue to keep working, and you never stop working. You'll eventually get to that point where you want to be, or maybe you didn't know you would be at that point. Your work leads you into new places that you wouldn't have imagined. So as long as you keep doing that, I think eventually it'll work for you.